All right, we're going to start by going over tonight's homework or last night's homework, which is page 5 in the packet. I do want to point out that you have homework on page, oh my gosh, I said it wrong. You are going to go over page 4. You have homework on page 5. If you guys want to go to page 5 right now, there are a few you can skip. If you can see up there, it says 14I, so there's 14. Here's I and J, you can skip these two. And then it says 15C, you can skip. And we're not going to do those. They're not even in there, so you don't need, you can cross them right off. So 14I and J and 15C. That's your homework due tomorrow. I will point out, I apologize, guys. Question 11 today, I should have told you to skip that one. There was no answer for question 11. I apologize if you spent a decent amount of time looking for that answer. It wasn't in there. 11 on the one due today. Just skipped it? I'm sorry. I do apologize for that. I did put it in Teams yesterday afternoon when I realized that you couldn't do question 11, but I should have told you in class. Anyway, what is the estimated time origin of Earth? Right there, estimated time origin of Earth. And you could have written it any of these ways we talked about yesterday. So yes, of course, the easiest way is 4.6. By the way, you can abbreviate that, billions of years ago. So BYA, billions of years ago. You could also go 4,600 million years ago. So MYA, millions of years ago. Or of course, you could have written it out all the way, 4,600,000,000. Name the 2 eons. Try your best with these pronouns. Here's the 2 eons. Yes, the Phanerozoic. And then guys, remember underneath the black line of confusedness. This is one thing that you should have taken away from yesterday's lesson. Underneath the black line of confusedness, one of the confusing things is these words don't line up. So under eon, they crammed all of this stuff in there and there's nothing for eras or periods. But they, under the black line, they're not where they belong, but they still go in order. So this is the eon, these are the eras, and these are the periods. So they go in order, they're just not where they belong. So the 2 eons, we've got the Phanerozoic and the Precambrian are the eons. Of course, I don't expect you to memorize how to spell these. But it is important that when you write them out, you spell them carefully from copying them off the reference table. And I say this because some of the words are very similar. Like this word, like here we have Proterozoic, not to be confused with any of these zoics. So all I'm saying is you don't have to spell them off the top of your head, but you have to copy them pretty darn correctly. So if you're not a good speller, check your work here. Or check your spelling from here. Anyway, 2 eons are Phanerozoic and Precambrian. Name the longest eon. So there's only 2 eons. The Precambrian is the longest. And in fact, now they're asking you, how long is it? How do we figure out how long it is? That's how do I figure out how old you are? I would subtract today's date minus the year you were born. That's how you get how old you are, in case you weren't sure. So 2020, oh, this is only gonna work. So this year in 2022, Renee, what year were you born? 2006. Oh, and your birthday is today. Today, happy birthday, Renee. And I knew it was coming up, but I didn't realize it was today. Holy cats, that was perfect. So Renee, you just turned 16 today. Yes, and the rest of you who are born in 2006, but your birthday's not today, you will all turn 16 this year, correct?
Yep.
Yay. Okay. All right, so that's how you figure out how old you are. Happy birthday, Renee. How do we figure out how long the Precambrian lasted then? Subtract what numbers?
1,300.
Where'd you get 1,300? Ah, here's the Precambrian. Everybody point to where it began. I want to see where you're going to point. No, I want everybody to point. I didn't say anybody say anything out loud. Everybody point. We're coming to check to see if your finger's in the right spot. Precambrian began. Nope. Nope. Guys, where's the Precambrian box? Here's the Precambrian box, right here. This is the Precambrian. See what I just highlighted? So does it begin at the top of this box or the bottom of this box? They begin at the bottom. So right here is where it began. So if it begins at 4,600, now again, here's the whole box. When's it end? On the box, how about that? On the box, what part of the box is when it ends? The top. Here's when it ends. And you gotta ask, well, Renee thinks you have to estimate. She's estimating around 600, which is around 600 is good. Do we know an exact date of that box, which happens to line up with the black line of confusedness? Follow that black line of confusedness down. Right there is the exact age of the top of that box. So if the Precambrian started, it started at 4,600 million years ago. What year did it end up ending? No. Where's the top of that box? What is the age of the top of that box? 542. That 1,300 is this dotted line. So that's not the top of the box. That 1,300 is right there. Follow that up. And of course, now my stuff is removed, but it's right there. We want the top of the whole Precambrian box right there at 542. Now, it did say approximately. So if you went with the 600, you're fine. But when you subtract this, you get 4,058 million years. Is that a lot? If this whole timeline is 4,600 and we're talking 4,058, that's most of Earth's history has been the Precambrian. That's another thing you were supposed to take away from yesterday's class. The Precambrian has been most of Earth. Out of the 4,600 million years, 4,058 million of those years have been the Precambrian. And the Phanerozoic's just this little itty bitty bit at the end, 542 million. And I know 542 million doesn't sound like a little bit, but when you're comparing it to 4,600 million, it is a little bit. All right, name the 3 eras of the Phanerozoic. Let's go with Kelvin. I think you had this, didn't you? 3 eras of the Phanerozoic. Question 5. Can you tell me what letters they begin with? C, M, and a P. So the Phanerozoic gets broken up into that, and I will not put any of you on the spot trying to pronounce these. So I believe it's Cenozoic, Mesozoic, and Paleozoic. Again, just please be careful with the spelling, copy them, because this PA one is similar to the PR one over here. So
You're joking.
just saying, be careful, because if you mess up a few letters, I might think you're talking about the wrong thing. Name the three eras of the, or I'm sorry, name the two eras of the Precambrian. Tyler, did you get that one? This one's a little trickier. Tell me what letters again. A and P. So again, this is one of the things you had to learn yesterday. Under the black line, the eras don't line up, but they still go in order. It's that yesterday too. Precambrian is the eon. The eras are these Arcanian and Proterozoic. I don't care what order you answered this in. Three periods of the Mesozoic. How about Brennan? Did you get this one? Find the Mesozoic and give me the three periods. Again, if you can't say them, tell me the first letter. C, J, and T. So here's the Mesozoic. It's broken up into the Cretaceous, Jurassic, and Triassic. How many millions of years ago was the beginning of the Mesozoic? So on mine, I have the Mesozoic colored pink here. There's two numbers that mark it off. Are we looking for the bottom number or the top number, Gabby, for the beginning? The bottom number or the top number? For the beginning, the bottom number, which is right there, 251 million years ago. So always remember the beginning's at the bottom, the end is at the top. This one changed it up. Did you find the Silurian? And we were looking for the end. Did you find the word Silurian? Riley, did you find the word Silurian? Tell me what number did you get? You fell for their trick. You're right, here's the Silurian. And we have two numbers, but this one asks for the end. Am I looking for the top or bottom? Top. Yeah. Yeah, be careful with that. That's what they're going to do to you. And they're expecting you to fall for the trick. You clearly knew what you were looking for, but then you fell for the trick. If they say end, we're looking, where did it go? If it says end, we're looking for the top. If it says began, we're looking for the bottom. So just be careful when you read those. All right, this one's not on the reference table. You kind of had to think. What does it say? What is the division of geological time scale based on? So you got all these things. All these different divisions, whether it's the beginning or an end of an era, or the beginning of an end of a period. The eras are the easiest to look at. Find the beginning of the Paleozoic for me. Everybody point to the beginning of the Paleozoic. What's it say, Shelby, at the beginning of the Paleozoic? What happened? So you're on your reference table. It's not a question on the test yet or homework. Find the paleo. Oh, you weren't here yesterday. I'm sorry, Shelby. I apologize. Yeah, great diversity of life forms. So again, the beginning's at the bottom. It says right here, great diversity of life forms. What ended that, Jesse, that period or that era? The Paleozoic. Okay, so it started with great diversity. So guys, great diversity means what? Brennan, if I say great diversity, what am I talking about? Yeah, I'm sorry, I meant Braden. But you're right, Brennan. Great diversity means like a whole bunch of different things. So now Braden, what's it mean when the mass extinction? Everything dies. And hey, Carter, what ended the Mesozoic? What happened that ended it? Take a look. Another mass extinction. So it starts and stops depending on what's going on the earth. So huge changes. So what is this division of the time scale based on? It's based on changes with life on earth. So either the huge, great diversity all of a sudden, or the mass extinction of all that. So let's think about this. We're currently in the Cenozoic. What do you think is going to end the Cenozoic? What ended all the other ones? Mass extinction, not necessarily of us, but of all mass extinction of plants and or animal species. And I have read that they are thinking of making an end to the Cenozoic because of the mass extinctions of all the plants and animal species that the humans have caused in the last 100 or so years. So human activity is actually changing how they're writing Earth's history at this point. So I wouldn't be surprised if the next reference table that comes out will have an end of the Cenozoic and a start of the next era on Earth. Well, I'll find that article that I was reading. Yeah, there's lots of things that they say about Yellowstone, but we don't know how much of that's really going to happen, but you're probably right. All right, like I said, you should have crossed off 11. There is no answer for 11. I apologize. But number 12 goes, I think hopefully that one was easy. What period is divided into the Pennsylvania and the Mississippian? I don't need that. Carboniferous, I think is how it's pronounced. C-A-R-B-O-N. Carboniferous, period. And name the most recent period. What letters to begin with? No, oh, perfect. Thanks, Justin, for pointing that out. I paid Justin for that error. Guys, if they say period, they want a period. If they say era, they want an era. If they say eon, they want an eon. And again, that's how they're going to mess with you. So they said period. The most recent period is the Quaternary. Quaternary. All right, so guys, your homework's page 5, and it is a continuation of this exact thing. The only thing I'm going to say is we crossed off I, J, and C for the next one. Everything else is on here word for word, I promise you. My hint is if it's talking about things that were alive, look in the Life on Earth column. If it's talking about earth science-y things like mountains and oceans and plate tectonics, look in the important geological event column. There are 21 blanks you need to fill in. Fill them all in for your homework.